Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Been a while since I've done one of these, not since I have moved. So yeah, this is gonna be exciting. I have quite the book haul to get into. As you can see, various shapes and sizes today. Probably the most eclectic book haul ever put on YouTube. I'm making that claim now. But appreciate being here. Thanks for tuning in. I am sipping on some coffee here, cold brew. You can see the grounds in the bottom. It was the last of my bag of Aldi pre-ground coffee. So obviously all the sediment sinks into the bottom, but I digress. This is a book channel, not a coffee channel. Let's start talking books in probably no particular order, but I'm sure the order will reveal itself in time. First book we have here also. Picked these up from Half Price Books a couple of days ago. Sunday, I believe, April 6th. Recording this on the 8th. So this book haul has been brewing. They've been sitting on my kitchen table just waiting before I shelved them. Anyways, first book, without further ado, is called We. I don't know if you can see that. We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. This is one of the first. Also, take a look. Sorry, before I get into that, take a look at this modern library edition of it. So cool. The artwork and whatnot. It's an old book written in 1921. It's sort of one of the first sci-fi dystopian books. It tells the story of this mathematician whose like code name in this world is D503, and it's basically journal entries of what the world or what his living situation looks like in this dystopian sci-fi book. This may seem like a little out of left field, like it's obviously written by a Russian author, like where did that inspo come from? I was actually recommended this book by a Barnes & Noble bookseller when I went and got when I purchased No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. Did a book haul whenever I got this book way back when. He recommended I pick up this one. It's been on my list since. Every time I go to Half Price Books, I have yet to find it, and I finally found it. Sorry, squeaky chair. Drop a like if I should WD-40 my chair. But yeah, We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. I just butchered that, but alas. Next two books. We'll hold off on those. Let's get into the eclectic portion of it. I guess this whole thing is eclectic, but I picked up a new coffee table book. One of a couple, perhaps. This, I'm surprised I found it at Half Price Books. This is Time Magazine's top 100 photographs of all time. Or 100, the most influential images of all time, I think it says. And it tells a little blurb about each. So I'll flip to a random page here. This is the Man on the Moon picture taken in 1963, I think. 1969, sorry. And a little blurb there. So there's 100 of them. Some of them are pretty graphic. So I'll show some not graphic ones on YouTube. Like here's the original Air Jordan picture. The iconic branding came from this image, and a little blurb about it on the side. So yeah, I thought this was cool. It's just quite the steal, quite the find at Half Price Books. I think it was $9. And I had one of my 10% off coupons, so it was really $8.10. So this will be good. I'll sort of cycle through coffee table books because now I have a couple to go through. So this was a good find. Next up, we have probably the one I'm most excited for. As you know, if you watched my apartment tour, the inside my mid-century modern styled, or mid-century modern, whatever I called it, apartment tour. Obviously, I've been into mid-century design since I've moved in to my place a couple months now. And the most prolific mid-century modern, or I guess just the most prolific architect in American history is named Frank Lloyd Wright. Heavily influenced the whole mid-century era of not only architecture but design. I've been loving reading articles about his work and watching videos on some of the more famous houses that he did. And so I found this at Half Price Books. This was $3. This is Frank Lloyd Wright, A Gatefold Portfolio. So it has his top 16 projects that he worked on, residential or commercial. And it's like a fold-out book, like I'm in second grade again. Let me show you probably his most famous work ever. So this is what the inside looks like. It's this giant, let me back up. This giant binder thing. And then it tells a blurb about the work here. This is his house called Falling Water. Not this image, but on the back side is the initial image, and we fold it out. Here, I need to stand up. But look at that. That is Falling Water, his most influential house. Sorry, my phone ran out of storage after recording my next video that you'll see on the channel. So just freed up some storage there, and we turn these things around and let's keep rolling. But yeah, like I said, full scale image on one side, and then on the reverse side are like real life pictures of the house. So you can see there's the actual pictures of the house, some pictures of the interior, and blurbs and whatnot about the design theory and history of and historical relevance of the property. And there's 16 of them in this book, so that's going to be, like I said, a whole lot to read up on. Frank Lloyd Wright, the most prolific American architect. This was, like I said, $3. So happy to get my hands on these. There's so many YouTube videos going over each of his houses in detail and like home walkthroughs. I just think it's the coolest thing. So I assume reading about it will be an equally cool experience. Alrighty. Keeping on the same vein here, I also picked up the Architectural Monographs number 18 on Frank Lloyd Wright. There's an outside, first of all, this cover, just gorgeous. Sorry with the natural light, there you go. You get an outside look at one of his houses, and similar to the last book, I just like the images within this one. Like, here we go. Full page. Images of some of his, I think this is actually all of his projects he ever worked on. Things like synagogues and houses and museums and banks and all that stuff. This is more just photos, rather than like blurbs. But yeah, it has just pictures of the houses and buildings he worked on. So this will be the perfect coffee table book to sort of flip through on a quiet evening. The Architectural Monographs number 18. Who would have thought that this would be in my house? not me. This is the Academy edition as well, for all who care. Alrighty, continuing on this Frank Lloyd Wright train here, but back on a more novel basis, I got a biography on Frank Lloyd Wright. Falling Water, the prolific house, is on the background. There's a picture of what he looks like. This is by Meryl Seacrest. And some of the, I guess, reviews on the back really sold it for me. So the Chicago, no, which one was it? Newsday said, a spellbinding tale of an excruciating human genius. His life was the great American novel. Seacrest is a seductive storyteller. So here's hoping that this won't just be in a dry biography. I've been in my nonfiction era, obviously reading like Oppenheimer, and I guess that's it. But still, this should be very, very interesting, and just learning about him as a person as well as some of the works that he did. Cool, last two here, rapid fire, they sort of go together, or they definitely go together. I picked up to nearly round out the series, A Storm of Swords and A Feast of Crows, books 3 and 4 of the Game of Thrones series. I have books 1 and 2. You can just see them right there, Game of Thrones and then Clash of Kings. So yeah, needed to pick these up. These are like new editions, never been read, $3. So quite the find there. I need to get into a Game of Thrones. I know it won't ever be finished, or I guess it's not called a Game of Thrones, a Song of Ice and Fire. I know it won't be finished, but still, it's a good series for a reason. I think the last one I need is Feast of Dragons, but it's hard to come by in this mass market paperback size, and I like this size for these style of books. So yeah, these were good finds. Obviously, every Half Price Books has 50,000 of each of these books for good reason, and I finally need to read them. After the disappointing ending of A Stormlight Archive, I'm looking to scratch that fantasy itch again. Maybe in a different style than Brandon Sanderson, so maybe Game of Thrones will do that for me here. That's a good idea. Alrighty. Looks like that was everything for today. Let me get a comprehensive pile going for the thumbnail, of course. Everything for content these days. I'm just kidding, do it because you love it. Alrighty. Here we'll do a thumbnail. Surely there's a good one in there. But yeah, just to recap this eclectic book haul, as you can tell, I'm very much a mood shopper when it comes to books. None of these actually were on my list of things to get. Sorry, I'm struggling here. It's like I don't go to the gym or something. But yeah, so books 3 and 4 in A Song of Ice and Fire, the biography of Frank Lloyd Wright. We by Yevgeny, I'm gonna butcher this, Yevgeny Zamyatin. The Time, Top 100 Most Influential Images of All Time coffee table book. Frank Lloyd Wright Architectural Monography number 18. And then the bottom one there, the Frank Lloyd Wright, a gatefold portfolio. Sorry, I'm reading things backwards here. Quite the eclectic haul. Let me know if you've read any of these books down below, or let me know what your most recently purchased book is. Also, let me know if you've read A Game of Thrones. I don't know when I'll start that. That sounds like a good like summertime beach read. Not that it's like unserious by any means, but a good summertime book I can see me picking up in the summer, obviously, because it's the summer, whatever. But yeah, I'll eventually get around to it. All these books need to be read. There's only one of me, so here we go. Appreciate you being here, sticking around up until this point. If you have, let me know down below what you thought of these books. Do you count coffee table books as reading? I probably won't count them in like my Goodreads challenge, but hey, a book is a book. I don't discriminate here. And I got 3 really good ones, I think, this go around. So excited to flip through these in time. But yeah, with that, hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you got a happy week of reading ahead of you. Appreciate you sticking around. Give it a like if you liked it. Consider subscribing if you're new and all that jazz. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys.